Mm. So, what are we saying?
I don't know what we're saying.
Okay, so last time
On Dragon
we.
Pussy.
On Yu-Gi-Oh.
Right, I'm gonna just properly focus myself here.
Center yourself.
Yeah, and that will help by not listening to background noises from Baldur's Gate.
Stroke your mind, penis. Let your
I
brain
beg
get
your pardon?
hard. I mean, what?
Oh, you mean that my creative juices get flowing?
Exactly. Let your mind penis.
Yeah,
I can't even
exactly.
finish the sentence. Carry on.
I bet your brain is hard. Anyways,
It's
before we get too drifted away,
Sherlock masturbating your mind palace.
barely from what I remember,
I'm gonna be up all day. Carry on.
we were started last session in combat in a cave, surrounded by slimes.
Thought you were gonna say slots, but carry on.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, in their seductively slimy ways, they surrounded us. The especially big one decided to, just one tap our dear soul.
Mm.
And when that happened, it also came across and rather apparent that any form of metal, weaponry, armors, you name it, come into contact with them, melt, making Carrick somewhat rather useless in this endeavour, as well as most people who had sharp weapons.
Brick.
And considering our secondary magic caster got downed and he was our main source of magic DPS, Carrick made the executive decision to run. Halfir agreed, and that's when we made the getaway plan of running away from the slimes and trying to proceed further into the chasm.
The
When we did, we
chasm.
came across a bridge which had a rather familiar inactive clockwork drone. The only way I can really describe it, really, because it was a circular thing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a circular sphere eyeball thingy with wings. As soon as we got to that point, the slime stopped chasing us because we pretty much got far away, and as before they stopped chasing, I heroically picked up Soul. Soul kind of got healed, came back to us and was like, well, I kind of don't need you carrying me anymore. Jumped off my shoulders and sprinted like no tomorrow. Then we finally all reconvened, came to a doorway, examined it. Carrick checked it for traps, it was clear. Asked Sol or Halfir to check it through magical means, and they deemed it to be the all clear, so we proceeded inwards. And then, as we proceeded inwards to the entrance, we found another circle eyeball robotic clockwork thing with wings. And that's when, we noticed it was severely damaged, and Halfir revealed information that the previous owner went over when he examined it, scorch marks. So we came across the suspicion that we weren't the only ones in here. We went down one route, tried some doors. I think one worked, or we came across a door which had a silver hatch, and we had to more or less work out how to, put it together and open it. But we decided upon going a different way, and then we came across a bunch of deceased people in the next part. The water was just as rotten as it was at the entrance. The corpses here seemed, pretty much decayed. The the armour seemed very delicate to the point that if you were to go for a firm grasp on it, it would somewhat crumble. So it came, well, pretty much came across that these bodies were fairly old, or something else had, well, corroded the bodies. Working with that sort of information and wondering, it left the group starving for answers. And in front of us were 3 doors. And for the last part, due to I remember I was quite tired, I don't really remember much of what we did other than I think we tinkered with one and one opened, or we knew one was locked and the other 2 were, well, mysterious doors awaiting to be examined or pried open.
The door to the right was a triple locked door that was bound by a magical force of some kind, and very luckily I'd managed to roll above the DC for Halfir's religion checks for it, so there was seemingly no repercussions to tinkering with the door.
Oh yeah, he did some like chanting and stuff with his weird glowy eyes, wasn't it? Or was that session before?
Session before, I think.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, the door above just leads to the door you couldn't open before. Similar to the other side of the door, it has the silver lock tightly screwed into the door, where the slit is down the middle between the 2 doors, that keeps it secured. There is little holes in the top of them that lead down into a series of keys on the inside of the lock, which can be manipulated to loosen or completely drop the lock from the door and allow you to open the door. Possibly, but that's something for later. After seemingly releasing the assorted locks on the door to your right there, Halfir had said he'd felt some direction pointing him towards the door below. And walking down toward that, he is now just kind of stood here looking around toward you guys, waiting for any input or direction next. Because, I mean, he's here for his mission, but you guys are his allies, and he doesn't want to seemingly advance without some certainty among the group. So what do you guys want to do?
I mean, we flipped the coin.
Well, since Halfier's visions brought us to this place, and he feels a strange pull towards the door at the bottom here, don't really see any reason not to continue down there.
Okay. Then I guess I'll have Halfir move forward. As he moves toward the door, you don't see any locks or slots or keyholes or any kind of way to block the door. Either it just never was blocked to begin with, or something Halfir did with the other door unlocked this door. But either way, as he walks over, he places his hand on what looks to be a mixed, heavy metal and, more for the filigree of it, wooden worked door. On the front of it seems to be the symbol of Chloris, which is that of a wave. But surrounding it there appears to be a series of runes, which, in the case of the magical casters, appears to be some kind of intention of a protection of some kind, a protective spell maybe. As he places his hand on it, he kind of stands for a moment, his hand on it, seemingly his head moving a little as if he's trying to feel something. But he slowly moves his hand away, turns back to you lot. Assuming you all have a kind of face of go ahead, he'll push the door too. And as he pushes the door open, immediately there is I'm not going to open the door just yet because I want to explain a few things first. As the door is pushed open, you see a series of gentle green lights, like these dewdrops, slowly trailing down from the roof, hitting the ground and disappearing into the cracked stonework. there is an immediate air of force, almost, that flies through you all. It's not like wind, it passes through you, and you feel power that even for Sol and Halfir you don't quite immediately understand. But as it passes through you, both of your pentacles start shaking around in wherever you contain it. And as soon as that gust, the wind passes through you, they stop. They go silent again. And as the door is opened, ahead of you, you see a large spherical shield of some kind, and on the inside of it, a large creature with slightly see-through skin. You can kind of see odd nothing really. You see a lot of veinage and what looks to be a singular heart of some kind not moving. And you see this creature suspended inside of this bubble. You see this.
Does it look similar to
Oh,
the
wait.
creatures we encountered before?
Yes.
The Seaman
Like
monster. Yes.
Yes. Pretty much exactly the same, except a lot bigger. And it seems
This I remembers.
completely locked in its place. The sphere itself, the shield, is held suspended 10 feet in the air, and it, other than a small crackle of energy, like a vein, a burst of lightning moving around the shield, once every couple of seconds, there is no movement between the creature or the shield itself. In the room, as those of you at the back, if you do move closer, the only thing you see in the room is, well, you'll see more when you walk in there, but for the sake of inevitably it happening, you will see statues, one in each corner of the room, with what look to be like these beautiful gold and a dynamic dark blue eyes that are comprised of these gems, large in size to fit the statues themselves. They appear to each be gazing directly at the shield. At the further back of the room, you can see what looks to be like one of the drones that looks to be more spider-like in shape. You cannot see the face, as it appears to be facing the wall, but the claw-like arms, the appendages, are currently dug into the wall at the back of the room, and it appears to have a book strapped to its back that is currently open to the first page. You see the rest of the book is laid gently to its side. And unless you want to get closer, I can tell you no more. The room is well lit. Or it should be.
Let's go in, I guess.
Before we step in, I just want to put a hand on Halfir's shoulder
Mhm.
to keep him from entering the room,
As you
and I'll just quickly step forward first in case there are any traps or anything like that I can see as I go through.
Okay. How far in are you going, or are you just going to the door itself?
Well, I'm just going to go up to here.
Yep.
And observe in case there's anything.
Okay. Make your choice of survival, perception, or investigation.
Survival, perception, or investigation.
Yes.
Survival, perception. I'll do survival. I'll try digital dice.
Mhm.
Watch me roll a 1.
I mean,
It's double digits.
proving you wrong.
I swear, as soon as I bought these dice,
Yeah.
as soon as I bought these dice, it's like
It's just like,
shit, he's,
buying dice
shit,
now,
he's
are we?
onto us.
Yeah.
Shit, he's onto us. Transfer the curse to Mozo.
So, hey, as long as it doesn't go my way, we're all good. So as long as you walk into the doorway itself, you kind of like take a small look in, trying to not touch any maybe hidden barriers or step on any tiles. You take a small step in, look around. You see the gems in the eyes are... There's no, like, subtle glow. They're just dull. They only are so prominent because of the torchlight that's already in the room. Which, the torchlight itself, looking at it, given how long this room must have been closed off to the rest of the world, you assume it's some kind of magical light. And as you guys walked in, there was nothing that like switched on per se. As you look around, you don't catch anything that looks particularly like a trap. This room looks to be pretty barren. It looks to be like it was maybe some kind of, with a wild guess, maybe some kind of room of reverence, or maybe some kind of punishment room, or it's a bit unclear. There is a long, like 30-foot rope that's currently on the ground beneath the shield and the creature, but it is literally just a rope. There doesn't seem to be any connection to it to the ground, other than being laying on top of it. And looking around, a lot of these towers are cracked, and you can see fresh dirt underneath a lot of them. Unless it's very well hidden, you don't believe there's anything in here, other than what you can physically see on the map.
I turn back to the group and I just shrug my shoulders and just say, can't really see anything out of the ordinary trap-wise, unless there's anything magical, unless you can see anything. And I motion to Halfie and Mozzie. Sorry, Sol.
I'm just glad Sol is starting to rub off on you.
Come on, where's your sense of adventure?
Yes, exactly. You went in first without me saying anything, so that's a win,
Yeah.
as far as I can tell.
No, I'll just probably continue deeper down, look around and stuff like that.
Hopefully walks in a little, kind of glances around, and as he glances around, he does note to you all to look up, and as you look up, you see what looks to be blackness above you. You see these small green dewdrops that are slowly falling down and touching the ground. As they fall down and touch you, and as you hold your hand out for them, Varnex, it just feels like wetness. It's just some kind of liquid, but it doesn't leave anything lasting. As it touches your hand, it fades almost immediately. But there is a small refraction of light in the room that comes from that drop. And you notice that you start to get a bit brighter the more of it that touches you. But beyond that, nothing lasting really occurs.
It's very clammy in here.
Alpha steps forward, walks slowly around the shield, kind of inspecting.
If memory serves, sorry.
No, go ahead.
If memory serves, these guys attacked me with psychic damage, and I was knocked out.
Yep.
So these guys are capable of psychic abilities.
Yep.
Potentially tumbling and all that stuff. I mentioned it to Sol and Halfia the last time. I think these guys may be capable of psychic attacks of some sort. Maybe one of you should try and think loudly to them. Maybe you can communicate with them.
Okay. Sure, I'll try that. And you know what? I'm gonna hold the pentacle because, of course.
Yep.
And I'm going to think, like, direct the thought at him, and go like, "Hey,
make a wisdom
can you
saving
hear
throw."
me?" Oh, that's fun. Wisdom. Oh yeah.
Immediately there is a
I got
backlash. You're gonna do what, sir?
I got bit slapped.
Okay. Yeah, there is an immediate psychic backlash, but it's not from the creature. It seems your thought direction is just immediately repelled. And you will only take... Oh, ignore that. You'll only take a d4 of psychic damage. 2 psychic damage.
Okay, so I'm going to like hold my fingers to the temple and go like, ow, 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 ow. Don't
It's like
do that.
the second you begin the sentence, the first word immediately reverberates back into your own head. It's like a scream of the word 1,000 times, and it's just that moment of it's like brain freeze all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say, do not attempt to do that. It's not fun. Something is blocking it. I'm guessing the big orb over there. We need to find a way to stop it before we attempt to talk to it. And yeah, the book is what I was going to look at next, but I see Varnis is already there, so
On
go
the
ahead.
first page, reads the following.
Is it just
I think
Varnis?
this, by the looks of the book, I think
Hmm?
Halfir may understand more. It references a key, which I assume may be a pentacle. Only those with one may turn the page. And another reference. I gestured to Halfir and Sol. I think you guys might be able to know more about this.
Okay. Well, I
I'll
tried to whisper to him. I'll let Halfil take the honor.
Okay.
I'll get out of the way.
So as he walks over, looks down at the book, as he reads the first pages, he's kind of like rubbing the back of his head as he gets halfway through it. He turns back, looks at you, Sol, and kind of motions for you to come over and read it too. I don't entirely understand most of any of this, really. The core premise is obvious, but the primeval law and the luminous doctrine, these are all just words to me.
Okay, so I'll take a look. Well, what do I see?
That exact text. Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's in the chat.
Yeah, I just noticed.
Yeah.
Don't establishing the back of this spider on you bringing in perpetuity with the assumption that one day it's big in order to cause this book to last longer than the world itself, if it tends to remove or alter the book, will be met with most kind red line punishment. I guess this is the feedback that I got.
Possibly, yeah. But you weren't directing it at the book.
Yeah. The book has something to do with it, probably.
Yeah. So, Halfir.
Does that anything to me?
Let's say make a history check.
History.
Very nice. So, the luminous doctrine it's noise. It doesn't really mean anything to you. The primeval law part interests you. The only other time that primeval is mentioned is usually with greater powers. So we're talking like stuff that even heaven and hell have to commune over. We're talking extraplanar entities put in place so that stuff like demons and devils don't get too far out of hand outside of the Blood War. It's literally like god level interference, and the very idea excites and concerns you, because if this book truly has anything in relevance to true primeval lore, then you guys have to be careful.
Mhm.
The punishment especially.
Mhm.
Does Sol let the rest of us know about that or not?
Of course.
I don't know.
Oh,
If
us-
unless I say so, explicitly say so, you can
just
like-
assume, yeah.
assume I'm telling this to all of you.
Nissa will grab her head much like Sol did, because she doesn't understand any of this, and it hurts her brain immensely.
So this thing, whatever it is, has been sealed here by some grand high power,
Yes.
aka by Lee.
Yes. My minions across the universe. Yeah.
I ask Halfir, what brought you to here? Your mission, your pentacle? If so, Sol, did yours bring you here or anything? What is this thing?
I
I'll let Halper answer first.
brought us here by communing with the goddess Chloris. She speaks to me when I imbibe, and she has spoken to me for many years. One of the very few gods that are actually speaking. And she said, if I can do these things, one day I might be able to help them break free and return to their thrones better than they were.
Okay, Halfir, did Chloris... Do you believe or feel that Chloris sealed this thing here?
Judging by that image, the person we saw on the bridge, Affluence, I think it was, this place is a dual temple, one touched by whoever he serves, as well as Chloris, or he turns back and looks toward the mucky water. Or at least it used to be. Maybe it fell into disrepair, but I believe that whatever this book is may be in part to do with aiding Chloris in her escape, or maybe something similar. I assume that's why I was called here.
Okay, you do you.
Mhm.
I'm move back to Carrick. Carrick, what are your thoughts?
He said BRB.
Oh yeah, he did. Is he speaking in code?
Belligerent
Carrick, what do you think? Burb.
Brrr. He's just growling, it's fine. Sol,
Guys, I think Carrick is possessed.
possessed by the creature.
Yes. The sludge monster.
What does anyone else want to do?
Okay, so only one with the key can turn the page. Let's assume the pentacle is the key, because of course
Uh-huh.
it's going to be. Oh, never mind.
Connor, you were asked
Testing,
a
testing.
question.
Hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so it seemed I was tapping my spoon on my bowl in Morse code, but you couldn't hear. Right. Garrett gives you a bit of a squint and a bit of a look. And then Carrick looks at you dead in the eye and just says, don't really tend to deal with magic tomes or really tend to read about gods. So I'm going to say I don't really have much of a hat to put in this discussion.
Vonnex just like rolls his eyes and just says quietly to himself, yeah, sure, just let them potentially release a day or two.
I would like to investigate this statue here.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
I will do just that. In the investigation.
Ooh. It has shiny eyes.
I want to climb.
So you just start climbing up it. It's a 10-foot statue. So it doesn't take you too long. You easily jump up to the hands, pull yourself up, and you're starting to look in its face, look into its eyes.
And I take out the eyes.
Do you dare to take out the eyes?
Medusa has no clue what's going on. And she's quite bored.
Do I see this?
I mean,
Nope.
do you see the giant lizard crawl up? Well, yeah, how shiny are shiny?
I mean, there's a bit of light reflecting off of them, but the second you get into range of it, it blocks a bit of the light out of the left eye, so it kind of dims. But when it's reflected by light, it's fairly shiny.
I feel like I should try.
Then make a strength check.
I'm really, really strong.
Weren't we warned about something like that at the beginning?
You were
Pulling
warned
out the eyes?
about harsh punishment for the book.
Yeah, no, not just the book, but
Well, I can tell you I did really good. I'm really strong.
How does Nadissa try to pull out the
Wow.
gems?
So, this is how I imagine they look like. I kind of like a little beady, right?
Mhm.
You know, like it's just literally a rock or something placed
Yeah.
in a very small, ink case. So of course she just tries to, grab it, with however fingers on one hand she can get it, and then she just tries to pull. Maybe to put her other hand on it and push off with her legs.
Come on. And you're like really pulling, but what doesn't help is you can't really even get your hands around like the base of the gem. You're kind of like having to like really try dig your nails in, and it's really tough. You do get a slight grip, but it's more like a pointer finger and a thumb grip, and then you just start pushing with your feet. You're just like a lot of exertion is made.
I suppose it doesn't come loose.
Not even a budge.
Well, I mean, after I supposedly trying for a hot minute, I'll just climb back down disappointed.
Okay. You slowly make your way back down, and as you look around, you see all the eyes almost gazing at you, disappointed in the attempt.
But taunting me,
They're taunting you.
bastards.
I know. What are you guys doing? So,
I'm just observing the pretty lights and the big old thing in the middle.
Well, Halfir will look around to each of you. I am slightly curious to turn the book, and if he pulls out the pentacle, the book is true to its word. I meet technically 2 of the criteria. I have a key and I am of the faith. But should things go to the worst, and whatever the punishment is, I will take it on wholeheartedly. And I wouldn't ask any of you who came here for me to risk yourselves. But I would prefer that you all wait outside just in case.
Sounds good to me.
I'll shrug my shoulders and walk outside.
If you insist.
The character will just be like, all right.
I'm going to stay here and just, listen in.
Oof. Nice. Someone knows how to use the door. I like that.
What with this?
Yeah, do it. Is it working? Can you open the door?
I mean, I can open the door. I
Do it.
opened the door just now.
Just do it. There you go. It's a very small thing, but I'm glad they added it to Roll20 finally. It's a bit of immersion for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Halfir kind of takes a breath and just gently pulls one of the pages. Oh, damn him and his religion checks. Okay. So even though the door is closed, he is going to read out loud under the assumption that someone is behind the door. And he will read, and I'm putting it in the Roll20 chat, this. As he's reading that, there is an obvious, audible difference in his tone as he's reading through. For the sake of obviously Sol being the one actually at the door anyway, you notice that change, and as he's reading, the enthusiasm kind of drops slightly for very many obvious reasons. And he is then going to try reading some more. Ooh, behaviour. Okay, so let me just check some things real quick. Okay. He has inspiration and will use it. There we are. Okay, so and the next page is unlocked. Just making sure it's all set up everywhere else. Boop. And again, as he's reading, there is a tonal shift of something like confusion at some parts of this, but not because he doesn't understand, but because it feels like there's revelations he's making as he's reading it. There is a couple more pages, and he will attempt another check. Oh my, and now I'm getting the bad ones. Okay, so as he grabs the next page and starts to try and turn it, there is an immediate feedback, a sound that emits psychically that Sol, since you have psychic capabilities, you feel the feedback loop. A burst of psychic energy wafts out, and Halfir is going to take some damage. I was not kidding when I said that there would be repercussions.
Ooh,
Luckily,
wow.
he had temporary HP. So, as that wave comes bursting out of the room, for you, Sol, for everyone really, there's no visual, it's just suddenly Halfir, holding onto the page, just drops to a knee, holding on to the sides of the book, the spine of the book, and just on a knee, and he was just and you see the entirety of his face has gone red, and veins suddenly like pulsing around his body as he falls to a knee for a second. And yeah, in the case of you, Sol, it's just what sounds like a cacophony of voices, none of which you can make any real connection with or understanding of. It just sounds like a lot being spoken at once in many different languages. Does anyone do anything about that?
Let him cook.
What was that?
Can I peek through the door and see how he is?
Not doing that well, but let's just give him
So
give him some space.
as you look through, he is down on a knee, but you can see that he's seemingly fine, and he stands up quick enough. It's like almost like a quick snap attack had happened, and he stands up, rubs his head a little bit, and you see very quickly he shakes it off, and he's gonna you see him kind of stretch a little bit, and he gently places his hand on his chest. You all begin to hear him say a prayer quietly. To you, goddess of the waves, guide me in this encounter. I must understand what any of this is, what it means. What is my purpose here? Why did you guide me here? Give me these answers, and for you, I will give you back your world. Show me the path.
Show me the way.
Show me the way. And he's going to make another religion check to try and shift the book again. There we go. There's another one.
No,
Believe it or not, the DC is pretty low for him. Do. Okay, here's the second to last page. So yeah. We got one more attempt. Beep. And he succeeds
Oh.
again. So this is the last part of the book. Do bippity boopins. And after he reads that final part of the tome, he closes the end of the book, and as he places his hand on the spine and pushes it gently down, something occurs. As the book is closed, you see all of these little dripping dewdrops. They continue to drop, but for a moment they take on several multicoloured lights. And as they're slowly dripping down, Althea holds his hand out, and one gentle drop lands in the centre of his palm and takes on the form of what looks to be like a single multicoloured stone. And as he holds on to it, looks kind of confused at first. He wraps his hand slowly around it, and then it seems to burst in a ray of lights in his hand, and he gains something. Of which I can't exactly tell you guys, but you know.
We'll just wait for him to get it out.
Yes. Okay. So after that, he stops for a moment. He's got his hands on the sides of the book, just kind of holding it for a second, thinking about it all. And then he slowly turns his head a little. I finished reading. If you all want to come back in, we should probably talk about this.
Okay then. So I'm going to go back in.
So as you all begin to walk in, he holds out in front of himself the small pearl, which is rainbow coloured. It's not like it's emitting rainbow light anymore. It is quite literally, there are these segments of it that are a different colour. The pearl itself is so tiny. It is so very tiny. It's like a pill size, but perfectly circular. And as he holds it out and holds it ahead of himself, looking around to each of you, I don't exactly know what it is, but the moment it formed in my hand, I felt a connection similar to what I felt with Chloris the first time that we spoke. It feels like a connection to something, someone. And then you see, as he pulls out the pentacle for a moment and looks down at it, my only real assumption is it can connect us deeper with the pentacles, or maybe whatever is linked with. And then he holds the pearl up a little higher. Whatever is linked with this, whatever entity is linked with this. It feels like an old world relic. I can't quite explain why or how I know. I think it might have to do with the Pentacle's connection to me. The more simple way to put it is, he picks up the small pearl and holds it in a finger and thumb. I think this is a loose way to put it is, I think this is a pact with something from the old world in a small form. But to what, I'm not too sure. And after reading that, assuming you all heard me, I don't want to just casually use it.
So, what do we do about this thing? And I gesture towards the semen monster.
Yep.
Semen alien.
He kind of just shrugs. Well, I'm
Because it did.
It could be the creature it mentioned in the tome, but it feels. I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's enough. They made a big deal about locking it away, and you see as he looks toward it, he snaps his fingers at it a couple of times, and you see the thing inside of the bubble makes no motions. The entire time you guys have been in here, it hasn't made a single movement. I am not sure. Maybe that is the punishment for the book.
Could be. So what you're essentially saying that there's something here deeper than this, like a much bigger thing that if we let go could potentially bring the end of these islands, right?
He nods.
And what was that part about? What was it?
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
Identity.
If it helps, the sheet is fully updated with the whole text now. Book of Primeval Revelation. Let me just make sure it's actually revealed, because that would be rather dumb if not. Oh, it's not, of course. Right, so the Book of Primeval Revelation is in Willow Plains, Chloris Temple. It has the entire thing you just read written on that.
There was a part about entities and their spawns remaining on the island. What do you think that means?
He points at the creature in the bubble.
This.
I assume this and whatever Brisit, whatever that thing is, I assume it's those.
So not like the people holding the pentacle, right?
It could be them too. But I mean, you came here with a pentacle, didn't you?
I think so. Maybe.
I mean, that's up to you. To be honest, it makes spoiler alert, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Sure. Let's see. I think like my. I came here and then got the pentacle. No, I got the pentacle before that. Yeah. Sure. Let's go.
You
with
were an adventurer.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, you take it to mean probably not, because you've been carrying it for a while regardless. So you shouldn't count as one of the entities, so to speak. You definitely don't count as one of the spawn, or at least that you're aware of. Anybody else have anything to say about all of this doom and gloom?
Atlesia doesn't understand, but she thinks it's very, very bad, right?
She
You could say that, yes.
just looking at everyone else with that kind of face, like, right?
Uh-oh. So, the bouncy balls help save the world,
You could say that, yes.
and we must return the bouncy balls home.
going to look at Alpha for that.
I honestly know as much as you do in that regard. But I must say one thing that slightly throws me is there are all these technical terms and understandings, but never once was the pentacle mentioned.
It said 16 primordial gates must be closed. I mean, we're all to assume that the Earth Tower that we conquered before, that was one of them. So that's one gate finished, right?
I guess so. You could say two because there was one at camp that what's her face already cleared, if you could call that.
And
And
there was a couple on our way when we saw the Sahagin.
mm-hmm.
It was the
There
one
was
there.
the Sahagan one. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there mention of another
few.
off in the corner of the island?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that is a potential 4.
And they've all been awoken or conquered.
Those 16 gates. I'm assuming 4 per element.
Possibly, but that doesn't fill out the roster exactly, depending on what elements are actually involved. The traditional would be water, earth, air and fire, but that is only the traditional. There is also lightning in some cases. There's also, in a separate category, nature. It depends on which elements they're choosing. I mean, even space itself is technically one of the elements.
So we need to conquer these 16 gates in order to prevent what's known as the Final Days Protocol, whatever that may be.
But that seems to only apply if these things are released in the first place.
So if we don't release them,
By these you mean, and Varnex points to whatever this thing is in the room.
Within essence, I believe, but it depends on if this thing counts as one of their spawn or not. Though given the look of this room, it's been numerous years.
Spawn. As in that thing in the egg we found before in the Kraken nest.
You see his
Oh.
eyes immediately dart at you.
you as in
Varnix. As if he's just said something like, shit, that. Then it's a very good thing we didn't release it.
mm-hmm.
If it is one of them.
And these things, and I'm pointed to this thing here, these things, wherever they are, protect them or serve them.
No matter what way you look at it, we have a lot of problems. Not to mention, we removed an element from the creature down below that would keep others away from it. The Kraken.
Fuck. Well, we in hindsight 2020, we couldn't have possibly known that at the
We
time.
couldn't, no. At the very least, we have we have time. We had to go through trials and tribulations just to get there in the first place. So,
Wait, the book. The book mentioned something about any of them find their spawn. Those squid things. They mentioned something about that thing's parents
they did.
till they return.
The book also mentions something along the lines of other prisons. Maybe this Pentabrisht is one of the prisoners, and the rest of the family are imprisoned on other such isles and locations.
Carrick looks back to the thing that's imprisoned here and is like, perhaps it's best we leave this thing here.
I had no intention of trying to free that thing. It's an aberration, evidently.
Yeah, I think we should just keep it here and not do anything for now.
And I will admit, uneven curiosity to understand what that shield is doing to it. He does step forward, but not enough to actually be close enough to touch the shield. Not to mention it's 10 feet up. And he kind of like looks underneath it. And again, the creature hasn't seemingly registered anything going on. Or at least if it has not made any movements to show the fact. This is a very interesting, and then he makes air quotes, primeval punishment. If it's what I am loosely assuming, it looks like the creature has been held in some form of suspended animation. I don't know if its own bodily functions just keep it going in that suspended state, or if there's some kind of cruel twist to the punishment that keeps it so. But I'm glad I didn't ruin that book.
Well, I guess that, well, we could assume that it's like a two-way barrier. Like, I couldn't interact with it, I guess it couldn't interact with the outside world, because it gives it feedback the same way it gave to me. Well, those are like psychic creatures, that's how they communicate. So, in order to prevent it from communicating,
It's a perfect
the
barrier.
outside world, yeah, exactly.
Trying to make the bot work, don't mind me. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he nods, and you see with like a kind of like keen mind and a weird enjoyment almost. He looks up at the creature in the orb with that interest of an arcanist, and also a bit of a sadness of never being able to know the finer qualities of how it works, but gets over it very quickly. Well, I believe, other than wanting to understand more about this place, why it became this way, until I receive more knowledge, I don't want to risk awakening whatever these things are.
Agreed.
But I do at the very least want to see through what's through that other room. If you all want to remain outside, that's your choice, and I won't ask any further. But I would like for you to all be ready. Okay. So he walks out into the hallway, and we'll move off towards the room on the other side. Who is going with him as he tries to open the door?
Sure, let's go. See what's going on over here.
Lisa will help however she can, but she doesn't want to.
Go on,
break
this is
anything.
going to be fun.
With this, it doesn't think the end of the world is fun.
It's really not. Kind of sucks, to be honest. So, as he opens the door and takes some slow steps inside, looking around first, he turns back and looks at you, Varnix, to see if you want to see for traps first.
I nod to him and do the same as before.
Hmm.
Just slowly step around him, just ahead, and just keep an eye out. Do I have to roll?
Yes.
What do I have to roll? Perception, survival?
Or investigation.
Alrighty then. I'm going to use physical dice. One moment while I get my camera up.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel luckier with my real dice.
I mean, yeah. Oh, get fucked!
no.
Get
No,
fucked!
No, that's not good.
Get fucked!
Ah, there we go.
Oh yeah, sorry, the camera got glitched out there for a second. Looked like a natural one almost. Mm.
I turned back to Halfie with like derpy eyes with like a thumbs up.
Oh, that was good to me, buddy. Yeah.
All good.
It's all good. Yeah, he looks at you and he kind of double checks you and he kind of just like shrugs it really. He
And
looks.
Halfie steps in the bear trap.
No, he looks around the room just in case. Okay, so with his own branch of looking for traps, he looks around. He does note that there seems to be some kind of circles on the ground that look to be loosely familiar, but he can't quite place what branch of magic they're from. So he stays at the door for a moment and kind of asks you over, Sol.
I'm gonna scooch over here. Yes.
Make an Arcana check.
Sure, I'm gonna make an Arcana check. Let's see.
Similar thing. You look at it. There are what look to be like alchemical patterns in these semicircles, but you're not quite. You're like trying to think, and you can kind of like close an eye, and you just like imagine what they correlate to, but it's just not coming to you for some reason. You, at the very least, I'd say between the pair of you, you know it's not something that's activated by touch.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that, well, I don't know what that thing is, but I know for sure that it's not activated by touch. So it should be fine.
So as each of you walk in, Varnix had already walked in anyway, but what do you want to do? As you look over, you see in wonderful text that only Mosey would know, on the, what looks to be like, almost like a tombstone, a very massive tombstone, or a floor panel, or it's large and it's in the ground. On the top of it, you see what reads to be, "Here lies the ceremonial prison. Beware ye who enter, for this place is forbidden."
Well, remember the thing they said about not letting something out? I think this is the room.
Halfir nods, and you see he puts the pentacord down into it, the deepest part of his pouch. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stay back here then, just in case.
I'm going to tell Varna, it's like, yeah, yeah, I think we should get out.
Well, clearly there's no traps here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So as you all begin to walk back out, and you just leave it to its own devices. As a random other note, the statues in this room, the eyes are red and gold crystals. Just a small detail that has to be made. But yeah, that's really about that. The room is well lit. You can see the circles on the bottom. There are sconces, and yeah, that's about that. What do you guys do now? You can leave if you want to.
So the
I go
world
to
is
help.
saved.
Sorry, you go.
Is the world saved?
It's gonna take a while.
Oh man.
I go to Halfie and say, your visions brought us here, and yet everything we found here leads us to stay away from this place. What exactly brought us here?
Fair point.
You see as he's like looking around to each of you as he's walking around to a more central spot. Um, as he walks over to this more central spot, he's like rubbing his temple a little bit, and he's trying to make sense of it himself. It looks like, and he turns around so you can see like half of his face, and you see he's just thinking. He doesn't actively reply just yet. Do you guys say or do anything?
Varnix just waits and observes Halfie to see what his response will be.
Yep.
Okay. He, after about 20 seconds or so, is like he's like pondering and pacing, and he's just trying to make any degree of sense to this place. And then he stops halfway through the middle of this like central like platform bridge, and he just says, the only current thoughts that are coming to me is that she wants me to deal with the creature in some way, but it would plausibly mean inevitably releasing it onto the world. But before that, the safest way I can think of us preparing would be to open the elemental gates and deal with this purging tower. He kind of like throws his hand dramatically around and prepare for them and remove them. But then surely she would have had me move to the towers first. It must be something else. You see, he's like gently rubbing he's rubbing along the bridge of his nose and like rubbing his temple gently with a finger. I'm going to spend some time attempting to commune. Just give me a few moments. And he's going to walk over toward the door here, sit down, pull out his assorted herbal substances and some candles. He placed the candles down in a pattern in front of him, in a sort of triangular pattern with himself as the bottom bridge, and he'll begin lighting them and pouring some, moving some incense sticks, placing them in front of himself. And then eventually he will light a pipe. You guys will have 10 minutes to kind of wander and do really as you want.
I'm going to like telepathically whisper to Varnet. Are we really following a guy this high on shrooms?
I'm sorry, what? I could not hear that.
Are we really following a guy who's this high on shrooms?
I Varnix just turns his head and thinks back. To be fair, he did lead us to whatever this place is. You also hold a pentacle. Do you have any inkling as to what this could be?
Honestly, this goes beyond just a pentacle. I never had like a commune. I never talked to like a deity. My only religious interest is historical.
I just thought of the perfect response to that.
Okay.
Varnix just does a sigh in his head and just goes, well, where's our sense of
I
adventure?
knew it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Fucking. On
All right.
one hand, I'm proud. On the other hand, I'm like, how dare you use that against me?
In the back of my mind, I'm like, bitch, you used that on me several times.
I know, but how dare you? Yeah. The sense of adventure is not like it's exploring a cavern. It's not following a madman to a certain death. You know, I still want to go home at the end of the day.
I haven't started communing, by the way.
This is telepathically.
I know.
I think very loudly. This is a private conversation.
Wait, is he? Can he hear us? How can he hear us? Is it possible?
You're thinking too loudly.
Close
Whisper! You don't know, for certain.
I mean, how could he have telepathic powers? It's my thing. That's not fair.
I mean, I didn't say if you did or didn't.
Anyway, Carrick, what do you make of this? Except leaning against it. Connor, you're here?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, okay, because I see you like typing, and I don't know if you're here or not.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just not saying out loud what I'm doing and breaking bad.
Okay.
Where's Sol? Because I don't see him on the map.
Yeah, me neither.
I do see you because okay, I'm here.
Oh, you're hiding
There was
behind
a
the
token that
ghost
was probably overlapped on him.
Yeah.
Creepily hiding behind a corpse.
Anyways, he
I
sort of
just didn't move my token. But,
yeah. Carrick sort of like looks towards you. It just says, "I would be lying if I said I understood everything that was said by you guys, and be very much understanding and be all kumbaya about this god shit, but not gonna lie, end of the world doesn't sound too great. Sure, I'm down for stopping it if I'm able to, but other than that, I'm just going with the flow. Because it's sure as hell better as them wandering around the vast nothingness and just doing nothing. Or just waiting to die, so yeah, I'm just gonna live my life and do what I can.
It's my life, I do what I want.
I will.
Sorry.
Were you saying that in character, by the way?
No,
Taylor?
Varnix doesn't. That is nothing. That's definitely not what Varnix would ever say.
I was
ever.
going to say that's
I
very
don't know.
out of you.
I've been I've been watching a lot of Scalpog videos.
Fair enough.
I will.
Anyway.
I will say.
Back in character.
I will say to all of you, the one very important part to take out of all of the text that you should all think of in terms of your backstories and how catastrophic it could be is that there is a weapon in this land buried deep somewhere, or maybe not even buried, maybe excavated and being thought about being used, that can purge an entire race. And if someone managed to figure out how it worked, with or without the tower's energy, that would be devastating. Especially since all it requires is a bit of blood and a human sacrifice of some kind. Just a bit of thought-provoking for you. But yeah.
Varnix approaches Sol and just requests, Sol, do you mind if I have a quick look at your Pentacore? That's alright.
Which one?
The one you have on you.
I have both of them on me.
Wait, you have two?
Yeah, he has two.
Yeah, I have
Oh, sorry.
two.
All this time I thought you had one.
No. Halfir has one from his own origins. No, wait, sorry. Sol has one from his own origins. You guys picked up another one from the Earth Tower?
Oh yeah, we did.
And
And then the Kraken one.
Oh yeah, that
I'll
was a long
just give
time
you
ago.
both.
Yeah, I just like to have a look at them.
Yeah, sure. And then I'm
So-
gonna step away over here. Just to get the tentacles, like boop.
You put it in my hand and run off and teleport back into your hand.
mhm.
Yeah, just for shits and giggles.
I give you the finger.
Poof.
I'm gonna give it back.
Yeah. Sol, this is serious.
Where's your sense of humor?
I grab... When Sol passes me the pentacores, I elbow him in the nose.
No, you didn't.
Make an attack. I'm just saying, I'm counting all the damage.
Yeah, I want him to bleed.
Oh, fucking okay. Apparently, you're also counting the damage.
Okay, sure, do it. You wanna do it? You wanna go? Let's fucking go.
Suddenly, poof,
Okay,
fireball.
okay.
You wanna go?
Okay.
Sure.
So he,
Elbow you in the face.
yeah, he actually hits for fucking a lot. And
What are you
not
guys
getting
doing?
the pentacles now.
Yeah, take that, magic man.
You ain't getting the pentacles now.
so
What you are getting though.
all of a sudden, before anything else continues, all of a sudden,
Okay, that's it. Get back here.
a smack from Varnix into your nose, and you feel something twist. And for the next couple of seconds before you twist it back by force, you have that kind of like, I want to burn my nose. You have that kind of voice, and it really fucking stings. What do you do?
What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna fucking. I'm looking. Things. Hold on.
Fireball.
Nah.
I sort of turn around and I'm looking and
Sure.
I'm like, what the fuck
I-
are you guys doing?
I rush up to him and I go, like, intimidation. Enough with the jokes. This is serious. And I want to
Fuck
intimidate
you.
him.
You fucking elbowed me in the nose. Fuck off.
Can't I at least intimidate him?
You've already smacked him, so-
You can try to intimidate me without rolling.
Until he says
It's
something that
Yeah.
he's going to do, we're keeping this as a fake turn order.
I'm just gonna slowly start walking over, looking slightly annoyed.
You get back here.
No,
Are you just
I'm
constantly
giving
running?
you.
Is there anything else that Sol's doing, or are you just running?
That depends. I'm thinking. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna fucking do this, I guess.
But what are you doing?
Something we probably don't want to ask about.
Okay, so you want to get this up close and personal? Sure. I'm gonna do
Okay.
this, I guess.
Okay, look. We've all been through a lot. Right now, this is serious. I just want a moment to observe, to look, investigate the Pentacores. Right now, we just do not have time to mess around. So
Nah,
please,
fuck off. Get away from me. Fuck off. If this was serious, you wouldn't have punched me in the fucking face.
you had it coming.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. Fuck off.
Carrick, tell me he did.
In response, as you say that, I'm just gonna pick up Varnex by the scruff of the neck.
I'm under the assumption Varnix is very unwilling.
Sorry, what?
Carrick is apparently picking you up by the scruff.
You can try.
Okay. You can make, and I already know the answer to this, an athletics or acrobatics check. Connor, make an athletics check,
Okay.
as this is a grapple.
I would like to use my inspiration.
Okay, fuck it, alright. So roll with advantage.
Gotcha.
Oof.
Fuck's sake.
Unfortunate. Also, I'm really surprised, as Varnix, you chose athletics. But, I mean, you still won, so I mean, who am I to fucking say?
Oh shit, yeah, I've got +7 acrobatics.
I mean, you've already rolled and you've already won, so it's semantics. But
I just realised.
you feel a grab. I mean, you're not technically wearing upperwear, so I guess it's more like hand on your shoulder of like tight grip and a pull, and very quickly with the reflexes, your hand snaps onto Carrick's, pulls it off in the way, and you turn. You are looking at each other face to face.
I suggest that you let go and you stop this foolishness right now. You need a timeout. You need to cool off. I sort of like peer past Varnex's glare without really much of a care at all, and just say, "You try and fix yourself up if you can. So, if not, I'll try and twist your nose back unless you can't do it. And you need to take a cooler as well. You two need a fucking timeout, yeah?" And I look
glare
back to Varnex.
I glare back at Carrick and he just exhales and is like,
If you want to punch me, you can punch me, but I'm gonna hit
no.
back.
I exhale and like, I'm sorry.
Breathe.
We've all learned a lot. The reason I just wanted to look at, and I turn back to Sol and I go, the reason I just wanted to look at the pentacles is because, and I reach in my bag, and I pull out like a silver ring that we found in the caves where we beat the Earth Elemental Gate, where we saw all the dead goblins and everything. I found this. This is from an artifact that was from the temple where I was raised. I just merely wanted to see if any of the markings from the pentacles were similar to the markings on this.
Okay. That's fair enough, but Do remember, the Pentacores is his. He's claimed it. It is his possession. He can be as protective and secretive about it as he like. And if you want to form some form of negotiation, you start by talking and expanding your secrets, and also you choose a time and a place.
I just turned back to Carrick.
As a monk, you've learned restraint and discipline.
I just turned back to Carrick and it's like, mate, we just learned about something that could potentially end the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I need to see.
Fuck off.
Yeah, you don't exactly start a fight about it. There's nothing we can do unless we actually put our words together and actually come up with a plan, rather than just punching each other senseless over the fact of just seeing an orb and comparing it to a ring, which might not even compare, and even if it does, you talk about it. You don't talk with your fists, for crying out loud.
Nidissa,
okay, it's sold.
Hold on,
okay,
everyone, hold on.
Sold.
Everyone, hold on. Nidissa, you being the only one not involved in the argument, you see Halfir stand up and begin walking into the room. You see as he walks over toward that large slab. In sort of a weird, dreary daze. You've seen him like this before when he's imbibed, but you're still slightly worried about him. What do you do while the others are occupied?
Healthy man? Are you okay? Hello.
As you're speaking, you see as his hand is slowly reaching down towards the tablet on the ground, and it plants very gently onto it, and you see he's stroking it, almost feeling it, and then you hear him muttering something quietly to himself. Do you get any closer?
Yeah, I'd like to walk up to him. Are you okay? Poke him on the shoulder.
As you poke him, the head turns with a vicious swirl, a swing, and you see both eyes. One of them, you can see underneath there is this very light burning. There is actual fire gently ripping his skin beneath his eye. That left eye, the iris is just pure white, and the rest of it is black around that, with what looks to be the eyelashes completely scorched off. And as he turns and looks to you with that eye, immediately he swings around. You see his hand shoved toward you, but his hand doesn't reach for you. His fingers curl and his thumb curls inward too. A single finger points forward, and you hear, "You won't stop it." And he is going to, let me just make sure. Make me a dexterity saving throw.
As you wish.
As you suddenly hear the sound of a thunder and lightning crackle from the tip of his finger. Let me just double check. You succeed.
Oh, nice.
Just literally just meeting it. Okay, so 1 second. You take 13 lightning damage as a lightning bolt blasts from his fingertips. You, seeing that energy in the sudden change in him, you have enough preparation to drop, dive, flip, whatever is needed to avoid the majority of the blast. You will still take 13 lightning damage. All of you immediately hear, obviously, the sound of thunder and a lightning bolt as it streaks, literally, straight down past you all. You just see it goes flying past as you guys are mid-argument. And this streak has this layer of what looks to be like sickly green, as if to replicate his nature. But you see as the streak flies by, there is something of a cinderous smell. Nadissa, after being hit by the blast, you avoid it just enough that it only really grazes past you. It still stings bitterly, but you notice the part that has flown past you, it's got that same cinderous smell as your flesh scorches, but it doesn't seem like it's scorching in the way that lightning has struck you. It feels more like you've been burned. You haven't been blasted. But after that happens, what do you do? As Halfir seems to have taken on a strangely aggressive form.
Well, I will, first of all, pretty much in reaction to this, I will, like, my spines will, like, flare up.
Mm-hmm.
Defensive posture. I won't even hesitate. I will try to punch him.
Of course. Make your attack. Oh, yeah. Fucking hell. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Show me the damage. I don't know if it will... Yeah, it didn't automatically roll. Just click it again if you want.
Okay.
Okay, 15 damage. Very nice. So, I mean, tell me how you fucking clock him.
Well, you see, I just dive down when I hear like the lightning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I after like being quite shocked, I go like completely animalistic. I'm like just in defensive posture. I just like flip up, full breakdance style, and I just like do a roundhouse into its face.
Okay. Very, very, very quickly, after darting down, the animalistic instinct kicks in and the need for survival after being attacked. With this sweep through the air itself glides along your leg as you smack into his mouth. He swings to the side for a second. You see he's almost flipped over, but he stops. After that happens, you see as the skin that is shredded from small bits of spikage, as well as the swiftness and strength of the kick, as the skin is flaked off of him, it begins floating in the air where it was removed. And as the head turns back slowly round, let's see. You see as the face, the one burned eye, with these little flicks of flame slowly claiming more of his skin around his face. You see as the head cocks to the side. Let's have a turn order.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum.
All I want to say is, in response to seeing the lightning, Garrick just shouts in a bit of frustration, "Oh, what in the hell's now?"
Should we, since it's pretty late, should we maybe put a pin in it since we just started?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
If it helps, he does not have much health.
Ah, okay, good. So, okay.
So, Nadissa,
I see.
she might end this right here.
Mhm.
It's your turn, Nadissa.
Is it my turn? Holy shit!
Yep.
Well, I feel like this is like still the same instance afterwards. I'm still
Mhm.
like full going.
Full, like, full body, prepared, ready to spike a bitch.
Really, yeah. So I will attack like as much as I basically can.
Mhm.
I can make 2 attacks on my attack roll, and because I'm really stupid. A flurry of blows, yeah.
Okay.
Then if I use my bonus action, does that mean 4 unarmed strikes?
Yes, I believe so.
Let's just do it.
Jesus
shit.
Christ, a fucking 20 again. Oh my god. Okay, well,
Yeah, I think it's over.
13 misses, 28 obviously hits. Show me what the damage is and then we'll see. Because actually, the 20 is the only one that hits anyway. Exact health. Exact fucking health. Oh my god, if you had 1 point less. 1 fucking point. Okay, well, never mind. Initiative over. Let me put the other music back on. Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god, that was so quick. Holy shit. Jesus fuck. I knew it wasn't going to last long, but I thought he'd have a turn to be fucky about things. Back to tab and music, yay!
I'm just going to glare at the other two and just be like, this isn't over.
I know
I
the
sort of
attack
like-
I'll do. So go on, Connor. I know the attack I'll do. You go on,
That's
Connor.
fine.
You explain.
I look to the other two and I just say, this isn't over, you two. I just sort of go to Brick and I just say an orc. Keep an eye on them. Make sure they don't fight.
Okay.
I'm gonna go because fucking something happened. I'm gonna go as well.
I really hope everybody makes it back to see what I do. I have the perfect attack in mind, Lee.
So they're running. You've just finished kicking him in the face. They didn't see that. But what's your final attack before they actually get in the room?
After he turns to me, still all demonic at least from my perspective.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna hiss at him. I'm just gonna grab him by the shoulders and say, Natissa doesn't like it when you fight. I'm gonna headbutt him.
You take this strike into his skull with such ferocity that you hear something crack. You're not sure if it's in his head or in your head, but something just cracked and you know your head hurts just a little bit. And as you smack into his head, holding his shoulders, his body immediately, his eyes just lull closed, and his body just tumbles.
Gonna look around to the others I'm still a little flared up, okay? I just got attacked.
Sort of like Garrett looking sort of like half pissed. Looking very sort of like bewildered and Garrett's just gonna look at you, Nadis, and for the first time he's gonna yell at you and just be like, what the fuck?
You guys
I'm gonna go attack myself.
You guys walk over. Before the context is given to you, there's that moment of wow, no, this just fucking beat him up. And then you look over and you see his body crumpled onto the floor, and one, I mean, you can really only see the burned area around his left eye, but you notice there's still these little flicks of flames around the corners, leading down toward his cheek, that's slowly burning him away.
Stop, there's some other things that we have to deal with first.
What?
I'm going to point at the thing you just said.
Mm-hmm. So as you see it, you see these little. It's almost like a wall of fire, but these very tiny flecks of fire that are slowly creeping their way across his face. Little bits of it up the nose bridge, little bits of it down toward the cheek, other parts moving slowly toward the temple, burning little bits of hair.
I'm going to point at Karek and Varnix and say, you two, get him out of this room over here. We need to get him away from here. And I'm going to ask Nadissa, I'm not angry. Tell me what happened.
My needles flare down again.
Is it easy to pick him up?
Yeah.
Because I'm probably just going to do it myself and just pick him up on my shoulder and just lug him out.
Very simple.
Oh, when I say lug him, I mean sort of just lug him on my shoulder and just walk out with him and lay him to the floor. somewhere sort of like central over here. Yeah, perfect.
Nadissa saw Halfia man walking in, and he looked like he was, how to say, sleepy. So Nadissa asked, "Are you okay?" But he didn't answer. So Nadissa poked him, and suddenly he turns around, and Nadissa still feels tingly from it.
Hmm. Well, some shit happened. Definitely. This you did what you had to do. Can I examine him? What should I roll for it?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to start doing death saves.
Fuck.
Oof. Off the fucking bat. Jesus.
I know this is bad, but I'm glad someone else can roll a 1.
Yep. But not on death saves.
What does Halfir look like other than unconscious and had burn charred marks on his
He has this large blood stain on his forehead now. It looks like his ear has been like turned into paste almost. It's taken a large blow, and you can see little trails of blood coming out of his ear. Not to mention his breathing is all but stunted at this point.
I'm just gonna
It's
rip
real
a
bad.
bit off. I'm just gonna lift my chainmail up a little bit and just rip a piece of my sleeve, roll it up a sort of like a rag, and just pour some water on top of it and just place it over his head and just sort of like cover his ears a little bit.
I'm gonna give him like 5 points from the gain healing potion,
Mm-hmm.
just so we don't have to do death saves again.
Okay. He gets 5 juicy juicies.
The flame stops.
No.
Okay, can I examine it?
Okay. Make an Arcana check.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. You don't particularly know the source, but looking at the flames, there is a particular theme rolling around at the minute. Judging from the circumstances mere moments ago, and his attempt to commune with something, it seems he communed with something alright, but it absolutely was not what he intended it to be, and seemingly something, more than likely whatever is locked down there, due to his very deep spiritual connection, had connected with him, and somehow had taken control. The same thing that seemingly had scorched everything else here, as looking around at the Modrones you know and have seen, a lot of them have had deep scorch marks that seem to have spread in some places and stopped at a certain point. The problem is, fire on mechanical creatures will probably stop if there's nothing to keep it burning. But Half is a living creature. These things will keep burning because they have source to burn.
So even water is not going to help?
It does not.
Can
It is magical
use-
fire.
I somehow use the pentacle to like shut it down or shut the creature away?
So you pull the core out. First, I'll say, what is the first thought when you pull the core out and look down at Halfir?
Well, first of all, I'm guessing that if the thing is still there, I want to get rid of this first.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's not going to stop. So that's what I want to do.
Okay. So as you focus on that, as you have that thought, there's suddenly a deep connection to that idea, the understanding, and you see the top half of the pentacle starts to shift, and you see it doesn't shift to any specific sentences or words that make any real sense. It seems to be doing something, however. And you see as the fire is slowly spreading around his face, little bits of his hair singe very swiftly, and then eventually, after about 10 seconds, the course stops, and you see it opens up. There's what looks to be like,
Blah, blah.
yeah. There's a small hole that opens up at the top of the pentacle, and this bright light emits out of it. And as that light emits out, you then also see what looks to be like this radiance for a second. But then, as the light itself adjusts to your eyes, you see it's emptiness. It's void. It's space. It's this just brightness mixed with darkness. It's like space itself has come out of the orb and formed a nebula, the image of a nebula in front of you. And as it forms the image of that nebula, you then see as it turns into the image of, and kudos to the class if you know what this is, the image of an aboleth.
What the fuck now?
An aboleth. Hold on, I will get you a picture real quick.
Yeah, I googled it. Yeah,
Nice.
got it. Ah, this shit.
Yeah, boy. All of you should do a cursory check.
Hey, what check?
Oh no, like look on Google for what an aboleth is.
Oh, that was it. I was thinking of the Star Wars Aboleth. Sorry.
No, that's fine. You see the image of an aboleth, but it's not buried in water. It's not swimming in a pool of its own brine. It's set ablaze, but it's fine in the heat, the fire, and with its multiple tendrils, it's flailing them with these drastic, over-the-top movements, and you see as its head is looking around with confusion for a moment, and then the image of the nebula phases out, and you see as the many weird, like tiny dots supposed to resemble stars. You feel the pentacle pulling your hand down and pointing toward Halfir. The nebula then, like a spritz from a spray bottle, suddenly gusts at him and covers his burned side of his face. And you see this image settles very gently of a star-tipped space. It immediately snuffs the flames at the edges of his face and then gently settles into his skin. Parts of his skin now have what can be mistaken as freckles, these very deep black freckles. The parts that have been scorched will remain that way. It seems it's only snuffed the fires and possibly whatever the entity was doing to him, but without further checks, there is nothing else I can tell you. But the fires are snuffed.
The fire is out and the creature seems to be like in.
It could still be there, you're not entirely sure.
Can I somehow check?
You can, at the very least, with the info Nidissa could give you, his eye looked odd, his pupils, and as you kind of like peel the eyelid back gently, you see that there is this blackness that is slowly receding toward the iris, but then it stops. You can see the whites around the edges of his eye, but it seems like whatever effect the creature had has only been maybe stalled, maybe temporarily pushed away. It seems whatever effect it had on him is either hopefully temporary, or it has left just a physical mark as proof.
Okay, so it's over for now, but we need to get us, like all of us, out of here because we have nothing else to look here, and this shit could happen again. Maybe to any of us, because that was not. He opened up his mind, and this thing just jumped in. So we need to get out.
Of course. But remember, he was openly opening his mind through forms of, well, magical openings. Something's not just going to jump in our head unless we freely allow ourselves to.
Well, you may be right, but I don't want to take any risks.
Well, I'm not saying we should stay here. I'm saying we should leave. But this is also the reason why we need to keep our shit in check.
You need to lay off the shrooms for a while.
I'm not just talking about him, I'm talking about all of you. And I think the only two people who are level-headed here enough are the two people who, well, aren't either bleeding or angry about shit right now. So, well done, Edison, well done, Brick.
Brick just turns to you, looks at you. He's got that face of like, huh? Wait, what?
Well, I
So-
disagree, but now is not the time. to
Yeah.
argue. So
Yeah,
let's
you are not
get that.
disagreeing with me whatsoever. And you two are going to talk this out in camp.
We'll see about that. But first we
No,
need to go.
you are talking about this, I don't care.
This is. Well, it's not up to you, and right now it's not up for a debate.
More shit like this will happen if we are not in check.
Then let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you guys pick up Halfier's unconscious, air quotes, unconscious body. Technically, he received healing. He should be up, but we're not going to talk about that.
That's fine, I'll just carry him on my back.
As you... I'm going to just casually move you guys over here, because I assume you're not tinkering with the door. Boobity 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 boop. I'll leave you to here, because there are two paths.
Do we go back from where we came with the goo thing, or do we go back up? I say this while I'm chugging my 10 points.
Okay.
It's probably worth going through this new route. If there are any threats, we can determine whether they're more dangerous or not compared to the sludge monsters.
Fair enough.
Lead the way then.
Very well.
The camera wouldn't say shit. Here I am.
So as you all wander around the side, there is of course still the locked room. It's up to you if you do anything with that. If not, same difference.
I think we should just leave.
Mhm.
Maybe come back for it later.
So as you guys exit, you look out toward the very murky waters. There's no movement at the moment as you're looking out, but you know that they were there. Whether or not there's a lot more, a lot less, it's to be debated. There's maybe some ways you can subvert dealing with them. How do you guys maneuver from this place? As a note as well, when you came here, the entrance was a portal. The wall at the back of you, or again for context, the start of the map, the wall behind that is just a wall. You guys don't know what the exit is. How do you want to figure that out?
Can I just have a look at the fire here? Is it just hot coals, or is there anything in there that can be thrown out?
There looks to be like very old dead embers, flicks of ash. But beyond that, it seems to be some form of a magical fire.
But nothing that could be picked up and thrown at the sludge in case.
I mean, there's little flicks of ash and the like, but nothing that's more than a handful.
Yeah, that won't help.
Are you just looking for an excuse to imbue it with elemental energy and go boop?
No, I was wondering if there was anything I could, like, since I got flame resistance, if I could pick anything up and throw it at the sludge, that could help us progress further. But since it's just ash and embers, then I don't really think there's anything that could help.
Well, you could always burn something you possess and carry it with you.
I've already lost my stick.
Let's see. Can we
Yes,
next week?
we can indeed.
Because it's midnight.
Oh god, I keep forgetting the time difference between us is so nasty.
Yeah.
Jeez. So wait, technically, I mean, not counting when obviously you've got shit to do, but do you technically start playing this at 9 o'clock then?
9:30. Yes.
Jesus. You know, we can
Yeah.
start earlier, you know.
No, we can't actually because I have a weeb course.
Yeah, it's
Ooh.
Japanese class.
Japanese.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why it's
that's
late.
cool. That's cool,
Yeah.
by the way.
It's really nice. Gotta tell you that.
Just saying, at some point, maybe for D&D stuff as well, you've got to teach me some words.
Yeah, sure. I can send you like the hiragana and katakana,
Oh,
and then you can just.
just saying, if this is not some evidence as to how much of a nerd I am, but just you even saying those words had almost, and I'm going to say this as slow run as possible so it doesn't sound as weird as it is, but just even hearing you saying those words of what it, of the general broad scope of the language, just it's as close to getting turned on from words as I can get. That just, it's just so,
Imagine I do it with an accent.
I know, imagine.
That
That was cool.
You know what? Remind me tomorrow at like about 1.5 hours before we start the session, and I'll send you some pictures.
So that'd be 5 for me, 7 for you, I think.
Something like that. 7:30, like 5,
Hmm.
5:30, 6 for you, I guess.
Yeah.
That's when I usually get back home, so
Nice.
I can just send it to you if you want.
Hell yeah. God, just, so cool.
It's sugoi.
It's sugoi desu. It's kawaii and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go cringe in the corner by the fact I just said kawaii. So, yeah. See you later. Also, oh, before I forget, how many of you actually have Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
You know I do.
Good.
New.
Stefan does.
Because all I'll say is, firstly, there's more than enough of us here to form a party, so I'm playing Baldur's Gate at the minute. I've gotten to a point in the game where I know quite a bit about the story, and oh my god, my brain is melting, which is ironic considering it has mind flayers in it. Oh my god, it's so good. Next part, which I'm actually trying to deviate very slightly into, is you fuckers should form a multiplayer game. Anyone that can't or doesn't have it or whatever, fucking get it. What's wrong with you?
My computer is shitty. I have like a laptop from 2016 that was not made for gaming.
Oh, that's an actual shame. Like, it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Well,
to be fair,
It's money, and I'm
Yeah.
just starting like a Warhammer 40k.
oh god, no! Don't
Just
fall
not-
down that rabbit hole.
No,
Mosey.
Mossy, think of your future children's education, like your pension plan, something.
Don't fall into that rabbit hole. You'll never escape. You'll either love it so
It's
much, or you'll just.
Just one army.
That's what they always say.
Yeah, that's what they all say. It's just one
Mhm.
army, and then it's like
It's just one.
"Oh,
It's just
I
one
like, I
Primarch.
like this faction. It's a different army, but
Mhm.
I'm just going to collect that faction, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, I'm
And
just
then
gonna
next thing
buy-
you know,
I'm
you'll
just-
have a second army.
I'm just gonna buy these
And it'll be
two
like,
soldiers and paint them slightly differently. I can't just have these two guys. I've got to have a full regiment.
I mean, wait, just 1 second.
I've got to have this set, otherwise it doesn't fit with the law.
He will end up like SpongeBob, like I need it.
Before we get too off topic, and then we'll go back to it. Yes, long story short, you fuckers make a multiplayer game in Boulders. It's really fun, and I recommend it. And those who can't, I shall replace you.
What do you mean? We should make it. You're saying it like you're not going to be joining.
No, that's what I was saying, because there's 5 of us here, because Mosey's computer can't handle it. I, at first, was assuming it would be you 4 that could play together, but then because
A
he
bit
can't...
late.
What's that? Oh, God. Mosey.
It's just the painting.
Mosey.
I like the painting part.
What? Anti-Semitism.
It's just a Assault Intercessors paint set. That's all
Yeah.
it is.
It's just one.
Yeah, you get like
It's
3
just-
space
it's just
marines
one,
and
yeah, you-
paint and brush.
Right.
Yeah, you just get the 3
But this
guys, and then
doesn't-
you buy a
This
Primarch.
doesn't
And...
feel right. I think I might just get a an assault squad now with jetpacks. Okay, that feels nice.
Jetpacks
Oh,
come
I
separately.
know.
Ah, that's okay.
I know what's missing. I need a librarian now.
No,
that's
no.
silly. Shit, I need a
Space-
chapter
Space
master for
Marines.
all of these.
Ah,
Space
but the
Marines
Children of
is for
Corn.
people who like it. No,
That's a different army.
Exactly.
I'm
Blood for
not
the
going
blood
this-
gods.
Blood for the blood
Corn for
gods.
the cornflakes.
Milk for the
I
gold
mean,
legs.
Essentially,
It's
what
about
I
Daddy
think
Nurgle, mate.
Space Marines
gives
is
you all of
like
the
a
diseases.
hype kid army. Like, oh, I just got into Warhammer and Space Marines are so cool and the Emperor. Nah, I'm going Necrons. Fuck that. Space Robot.
Hey, you guys, Warhammer gods, go. There's Nurgle.
Lenith.
Slaanesh.
Nurgle Slaanesh. There is Thorn.
Corn. Gotta love corn.
Corn for the
The
cornflakes.
other one always eludes me, but all I know is that he is the god of wisdom and knowledge, and he has multiple heads.
Oh, love multiple heads.
Yeah, he'd be a
Yeah, anyway,
yeah.
But yeah.
if you stream Baldur's Gate, I can always like watch it.
Oh, dude, fucking. The other day I streamed. I was playing it for 14 hours.
Oh,
Literally 14 hours.
Yeah, was that on the Friday or was that on the
I
Saturday?
don't know. I don't recollect much of it.
Yeah, because I remember you messaged me at some, but I can't remember whether that was Saturday or Sunday morning, and it was like, "Hey man, I can't believe it was." Oh yeah, it was it was Sunday morning
I think it's in
at
the
4 a.m.
60
being
maybe?
like, I've been on Baldur's
I don't
Gate
know.
for 14 hours in a row. I've literally not done that since my COD days. Also, Dark Urge playthrough is getting so interesting. How
It
was yours?
really
I
is.
replied at 5 a.m. being like hot diggity because I was still up playing it.
It
And
is
that's
so
the
good
reason you
though.
messaged me because you saw I was playing it.
It's so good. Like
And
again,
Stefan,
like the thing that I love the most about the game, and it's not even to do with the gameplay, is the fact that the most controversy about the game is that it's too good. That's the controversy.
Yeah.
Like,
is it?
that legitimately, that's the controversy. Other gaming
just saying
companies
it
are bitching, saying it's setting a standard that you can't meet. It's like,
Good.
yes, you can.
Good.
They.
Lee, I will say
It's
one
stupid.
thing,
Yeah.
and that is something that Stefan doesn't know, but I'm going to reveal it.
Is it spoilers?
No, it's to do with
Okay.
my first playthrough because
Is it spoilers?
Stefan, I'm currently on my second playthrough.
Well, to be
and
fair,
this is because my first playthrough didn't go right, and that's because you remember my monk, don't you,
Yeah.
Stefan?
Yeah.
I kind of did a thing of where I accidentally ventured into the wrong
you
zone.
can reload saves.
So I know, but that would have. I'll get to that when I feel like playing a monk again. But that would have. Well, going back to the previous save would have been about 40 minutes worth of
I mean,
progression that I made before that.
that's not that bad, to be fair, in the grand scheme.
I know it's not bad, but I was at the time like, oh, I can't be fucked. You know, I want to make something different. I feel this playthrough isn't going well. I'm gonna make a ranger.
Is it-
I like
just-
being range.
Just to check, you can change your class.
I know,
Okay.
but it was I found the fact that everything weren't going right, and I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna reset, and then the fact of reset and go a different class, different character.
Feels better.
It feels better because there's certain things I know, and
Oh.
I've also made different choices which have actually made things more correct.
Just saying,
So
if we do end up doing a 4-man, I want there to be some kind of meme for each of us.
that's fine.
I-
I'm game for this.
I'm taking the role of the summoner. I love familiars.
Fair enough.
So in other words, ranger, I get the find familiar spell. I figure out something else, like get some scrolls or whatever.
Yeah. And also, you are also able to play the Beast Hunter, well, the Beast Master, which allows you
Have a pet.
to summon a pet, which you can use Find Familiar as well as that.
Are
And I
they
can tell
different
you this
spells?
'cause I'm yeah, they're two different spells.
Nice.
Because the
3
Beast
pets.
Master gets to summon a personal pet, and then you use Find Familiar to get a smaller pet. So I'm
The-
rocking a Raven and a Dire Raven.
The personal
And it's
pet
a
levels
pool
up
of
with you as
pets.
well.
Yeah,
It's
exactly
so good.
that. So I normally use the Find Familiar as the decoy, which I send forward, and a lot of the time, the NPCs always go for the familiar first
Yeah.
compared to the pet, and it's like, all right,
Typically, it's because
would be
of
my
the
bait and
health
switch.
difference,
yeah,
or if
I
they're in
noticed
front of, if they're in the front line, they're obviously going to die. But
yeah, it's the health difference that is the main thing. But it's good because I use that as the bait and switch. So I use that as the bait. It gets killed, and I just use everyone else just be like, right, that one free hit's been taken, so now we can just try and end the turn quite quickly. Plus, I also found the tiefling barbarian called Kasha, or something like that, and she
yeah.
is god diggity.
I'm playing a barbarian in mine. Barbarian Dragonborn. It's pretty fun.
Karlach, that's the one, and
Karlach.
god damn, my player looks pretty. Well, I've made a wood elf as a ranger, and he looks pretty Baldur's Gate, if you get what I mean, rough and tumble. And I'm like, right, out of Shadowheart, Will, and Karlach, I kind of want to see myself trying to hook up with Karlach.
Yeah, man. Not gonna lie, I kind of, I knew.
Hell yeah, red hot tiefling lass with a.
Red hot devil woman
Yeah.
that can throw you around the room.
Yep, and I'm not going to say anything else. It's probably spoilers, so yeah.